welcome to the Good Night Lecture Hall. I am glad you are here. Today, we are going to leave the Earth behind. We are going on a long journey through the stars. Find a comfortable place, close your eyes, and let the ship take care of everything. Have a pleasant flight. Chapter 1. The Awakening. Waking up in deep space is a very quiet process. It does not happen all at once. It starts with a small change in the air pressure. You feel it in your ears first. It is a soft pop. Then you hear the faint sound of the fans. They're pushing fresh oxygen into your small cabin. The air is cold and it smells like ozone. You keep your eyes closed for a few minutes. You want to stay in the world of dreams a little longer. But the ship is calling you. The ship is waking up too. The main computer starts the morning cycle at exactly 5 o'clock. There's no sun here to tell you it is morning. There's only the internal clock. The lights on the ceiling begin to glow. They start with a very dim orange color. It looks like a fake sunrise. You open your eyes and you look at the ceiling. The metal is gray and smooth. You can see small scratches on the panels. You wonder who made them. You wonder how many people have lived in this small room before you. You lie perfectly still and you wait for the next step. The magnetic locks on your bed start to vibrate. It is a low hum that you feel in your spine. It lasts for 10 seconds. Then you hear a soft click. The magnets release their hold. Suddenly you have no weight. Your body lifts off the surface of the bed. You feel as light as a feather. Your arms and legs float in the air. This is the moment when you truly realize where you are. You're not on Earth anymore. You're a passenger on a metal island. You're floating in the middle of a black ocean. You move slowly into the center of the cabin. Use your hands to push off the walls. You're careful. You do not want to move too fast. In zero gravity, every movement must be planned. You look at your desk. Your personal items are tied down with small straps. Your tablet, your water bottle, a small picture of a green forest. Everything is in its place. The ship is very organized. It does not like chaos. Your breath is the only sound in the room. You listen to the rhythm of it. Inhale and exhale. You feel the air moving in and out of your lungs. It is a simple thing, but here, it is the most important thing. You're a biological machine inside a mechanical machine. You must stay calm. You must keep your heart rate low. The silent protocol says you must stay silent for the first 30 minutes of the day. No radio, no communication systems, no voices from the home planet. This time is reserved for your mind. You must align yourself with the ship. You drift toward the small porthole in your cabin. You pull back the metal cover. Beyond the glass lies the abyss. At first, it looks like a total void, but then your eyes adjust. You see the distant stars. They are sharp and cold. They do not twinkle because there is no air to move their light. They look like diamonds frozen in a block of black ice. You feel a chill on your skin just by looking at them. You realize that only a few centimeters of quartz and steel are protecting you from the absolute cold. You reach for your steel thermos. It is secured to the bulkhead by a magnetic tether. You grasp it firmly and you begin to unscrew the cap. You do it very slowly. You listen to the sound of the metal grinding. In the silence of the morning, this sound feels deafeningly loud. It echoes off the cold walls like a lonely scream. You see the steam rising from the hot water. The drops of water try to escape and float away like tiny crystal spheres. You catch them with your lips. The heat of the water travels down your throat. It is a direct line of life. This simple sensation brings everything back to reality. You're not a ghost. You're not a dream. You're a living, breathing human being. You're tucked inside a vast and cold iron box. You're flying through the infinite night. You feel a sense of pride. You're the one who is here. You're the one who sees what no one else can see. You stay by the window for a long time. You watch the shadows move as the ship rotates. You see the edge of a gas giant appearing in the distance. It is a massive world of clouds and storms. It looms in the dark like an ancient and forgotten god. Its rings are made of billions of ice fragments. They shimmer in the pale light of a dying star. You stare at this grandeur until your eyes begin to ache. You feel a primal chill run across your skin. The universe is so big and you are so small, but you are here. You close the cover of the window. The cabin becomes dim again. You prepare yourself for the tasks of the day. You check your vitals on the wall monitor. Your heart rate is steady. Your oxygen levels are perfect. The ship is happy with you. You're a good passenger. You take one more deep breath of the recycled air. You feel the peace of the machine. You feel the stability of the metal. Stay in this moment for a few more seconds. Listen to the silence of the cabin. The journey is just beginning. The day is yours. The void is waiting. Everything is in order. The day has begun. Chapter 2. The Corridor. You leave your small room. The door slides shut with a quiet hiss. Now you are in the main hall. It is a long tunnel made of steel and light. It goes on for 300 meters. The light panels on the ceiling are perfectly straight. The ship has its own rules. You feel the cold plastic under your fingers. You see rows of small sensors on the walls. Everything here is math and geometry. You are a guest in this machine of metal. You walk along the hull. Your boots make no sound on the floor. No почувствуйте вибрацию ногами. You stop for a moment. You look at the floor. It is made of dark, hard rubber. It absorbs the sound, but it cannot hide the power of the engines. The life support systems are working. You touch the handrails. They are made of cold metal. They feel almost wet because they are so cold. The ship looks empty. It feels like a ghost. Deep inside the walls, the machines are moving. You hear a low groan. The ship is fighting the pressure of the void. It is a heavy sound. It is a mechanical sigh. It echoes in the empty spaces. Every 50 meters you pass through a large airlock. These are thick metal rings. You stop in front of one, you look at the heavy bolts. You look at the thick rubber seals. In the dim light, they look like the ribs of a giant animal. When you pass them, the pressure in your ears changes. It is a sharp feeling. It reminds you that the vacuum is just outside. Only a few inches of steel protect you. You are a passenger. You are a small, breathing person inside a vast iron beast. You look up at the ceiling. You see the ventilation grates. A soft wind blows from them. It smells like ozone and cold metal. There are shadows on the walls. They move slowly as you walk past the lights. Time feels different here. There are no windows in this hall. There is no day or night. Your brain begins to notice small things. You hear the quiet chirp of the computers. It sounds like mechanical birds. You smell the dry plastic and the static electricity in the air. You see a thin layer of frost on the technical joints. It is very cold there. You stop again. You press your ear against the wall. You can hear the pulse of the ship. It is the sound of electricity, a thin singing wire that runs through the whole ship. This place was not built for comfort. It was not built to be a home. It was built for survival. It was built for the long trip through the stars. But there is beauty here. It is the beauty of a perfect machine. You're safe. You're alone. The hall goes on into the dark. The silence is your only friend. Follow the rhythm of the ship. Go deeper into the dream. The journey continues. Everything is in order. Chapter 3. The heart of the ship. You walk down the stairs to the lower decks. This is the engineering bay. The air here is different. It is warmer and smells of hot oil. With every step, you feel a vibration. It starts in your boots, then it moves up your legs. This is not just a sound. It is a physical force. It is the power of the ship. The room is very large. You see giant pipes on the walls. Some pipes are white with frost. They are very cold. Other parts of the machine are glowing hot. You see the orange light of the plasma injectors. There is a constant hum in the air. People call it the Titan's heartbeat. It is a low and steady sound. It never stops. This sound means the reactor is working. A small star is burning inside the magnetic traps. It pushes the ship through the dark. It gives you heat and light. You walk toward the main control desk. You look at the screens. The numbers are green and steady. Everything is in balance. You touch the metal of the reactor shield. It is warm. It feels like a living thing. There is no room for mistakes here, not even 1 millimeter. You pick up a small scanner. It makes a quiet beeping sound. The beep joins the song of the machines. It is a perfect symphony of steel. You look at the floor. You see small drops of water on the cold pipes. You hear the hiss of steam somewhere far away. The air feels thick on your skin. You feel the static electricity. It makes the hair on your arms stand up. In this room, you understand how small you are. If the heartbeat stops, the ship becomes cold. The ship becomes a tomb. But you are not afraid. You feel safe here. You put your hand on the metal again. You close your eyes. You try to breathe in time with the reactor. Inhale, the energy grows. Exhale, the energy moves to the engines. You and the ship are one. You are flying together through the infinite night. The heart of the ship beats for you. Stay here a little longer. Feel the warmth. Listen to the power of the star. The heart is steady. The mission goes on. Chapter 4. The observation deck. You leave the loud engine room. You walk up to the quietest part of the ship. This is the observation deck. It is a place for silence. There are no machines here. There are no blinking lights. There's only the dark. You walk slowly across the room. Your eyes need time to adjust to the shadows. In front of you is a giant window. It is made of very thick quartz glass. This glass is the only thing between you and eternity. You find your favorite chair. It is old and warm. You sit down slowly. You take a deep breath. You see a small cloud of steam on the glass from your breath. Fades away slowly. 1 second, 2 seconds, 3. At first the sky looks black, but then you start to see the details. The ship is moving through a cloud of cosmic dust. It looks like a thin blue mist. The light of a distant star shines through the mist. The colors change from violet to deep indigo. This is not just empty space, it is an ocean of light. The ship is like a small piece of wood in a vast sea. You look at the distant galaxies, their light is very old. That light started its journey millions of years ago. There were no humans on Earth then. You are looking at the past. You are looking at history written in the stars. It is a very quiet history. It does not ask for anything. Suddenly you see a flash of light. It is a tiny piece of ice hitting the outer hull of the ship. It looks like a spark of white electricity in the dark. Then you see another one. This is cosmic snow. It is beautiful and it is dangerous. You reach out your hand and touch the glass with your fingers. The glass is very cold. It feels like the ice of the void is trying to touch your skin. It wants to take the warmth from your body. The ship keeps you safe and warm. Now you think about home for a long time. You remember the smell of fresh rain falling on the grass. You remember the sound of birds singing in the morning. You remember the heavy weight of the ground under your feet. But here you are far away. You are millions of miles away from everything you know. These memories feel like a beautiful and distant dream. Space does not care about us. It is not kind and it is not mean. It is only infinite and deep. You see a planet far away in the night. It has clouds of green and yellow. It rotates very slowly in the dark. It is all alone, just like you, just like this ship. Your heart is beating slowly now. Your mind is very calm. There's no fear here. There's only peace. You are melting into the blackness. You are becoming part of the stars and the wind. Time has stopped. There is no yesterday and there is no tomorrow. There's only this light and this silence. Stay in your chair. Do not move. Watch the universe move past you. The abyss is beautiful and you are here to see it. Sleep if you want. The stars will watch over you. The silence is complete. Chapter 5. The Sensory Lab. You enter the room where the ship keeps the memories of Earth. This is the Sensory Lab. It is a small and warm place, and the walls are covered with soft fabric. There are no metal sounds here. There's only the quiet whisper of the air system. You sit down in the center of the room and close your eyes. You are here to remember what it feels like to be human. The computer asks you to choose a memory. You select the forest. Suddenly the air changes. It no longer smells like ozone and cold steel. Now it smells like wet earth and pine trees. You feel a soft mist on your face. It is not the cold mist of space. It is the warm breath of a summer morning. You listen closely. You hear the sound of a small river nearby. The water moves over the stones. It is a constant and peaceful sound. You reach out your hand. You imagine that you are touching the bark of an old tree. The surface is rough and warm from the sun. You feel the moss under your fingers. It is soft and green. This is a simple thing, but it feels like a miracle. In this room, you forget that you are inside a metal box. You forget about the vacuum outside. You forget about the mission. You take a deep breath. The smell of the forest goes deep into your lungs. It feels like life itself. You remember the light of the sun coming through the leaves. The shadows move slowly on the ground. Everything is green and gold. You feel the wind in your hair. It is a gentle and kind wind. It does not want anything from you. It just exists. Now you change the setting. You choose the ocean. The smell of pine disappears. Now you smell the salt in the sea. You hear the large waves hitting the sand. It is a heavy and rhythmic sound. It sounds like the breathing of the earth. You feel the warm sand under your feet. The sun is bright and hot on your shoulders. You feel the weight of your body again. You are not floating anymore. You're standing on solid ground. You watch the horizon. The blue water goes on forever. There are no stars here. There's only the bright blue sky and the white clouds. You feel the water touch your toes. It is cool and fresh. You stand there for a long time. You listen to the seagulls in the distance. Their cries are lonely but beautiful. You realize how much you miss the world. You realize how small and fragile life is. But this room is only a dream. It is a beautiful lie created by the ship. You know that you are still in deep space. You know that the forest and the ocean are millions of miles away. But your heart does not care. Your heart feels the peace. Your heart feels the warmth. This memory gives you the strength to continue. It reminds you why you are here. You stay in the silence of the lab. You let the memories wash over you. You are a traveler between the worlds. You carry the seeds of Earth inside your mind. You are the guardian of these sounds and smells. You are the link between the green planet and the black void. Take your time. Do not rush. Breathe in the memory of the rain. Breathe out the cold of the stars. You are safe. You are home for a moment. The ship is quiet. The universe is waiting. Stay in this dream as long as you need. The door will not open until you are ready. Peace is here. Silence is here. You are here. Chapter 6. The Long Signal. You leave the sensory lab and walk back into the cold light of the corridor. Your steps are slow and heavy. Every sound you make echoes against the metal walls. You are heading to the communication hub. This is the only place where you can feel a connection to other people. But the distance is too great. The signal takes days to travel through the dark. You're not talking to anyone in real time. You're talking to the past. You reach the heavy door of the hub. You place your hand on the scanner. The machine recognizes you and the door slides open with a mechanical groan. The communication room is small. It is filled with the blue light of many screens. You sit down in front of the main terminal. You hear the high sound of the cooling fans. It is a lonely and constant sound. You look at the signal graph on the center screen. It is a thin green line that moves slowly across the black background. There's a lot of noise from the distant stars. The universe is loud, but it does not speak our language. It speaks in radiation and waves. You check the messages from Earth. Most of them are just data, numbers, and technical reports. They tell you about the oxygen levels and the fuel. They tell you about the temperature of the hull. But sometimes there is a voice. You search through the files. You find a recording from a week ago. You press the play button and you wait. At first, there is only static. It sounds like dry sand hitting a metal roof. Then you hear a voice. It is a human voice. It sounds thin and very distant. It is like a ghost trying to speak from the bottom of a deep well. The voice tells you about things that do not matter here. It talks about the weather on Earth. It talks about the rain in a city you will never see again. You listen to the breath of the person talking. That is the most important part for you. The rhythm of the breath reminds you that you are not the only living thing in the universe. You play the message again, then you play it a third time. You want to memorize the sound of the words. You want to remember how a human voice rises and falls. You decide to record your own message now. You look at the small camera on the screen. You see your own reflection in the black glass. You look tired. Your skin is pale under the blue lights. Your eyes are deep and dark. You start to speak, but your voice is dry and weak. You've not spoken for many days. You clear your throat and you try again. You tell them about the stars. You tell them that the ship is working well. You tell them that the silence is very deep today. You tell them that you are fine. But you do not tell them about the fear. You do not tell them about the cold that stays in your bones even when the heaters are on. You want them to be happy. You want them to think that you are a hero on a grand journey. But here, in the blue light of the hub, you do not feel like a hero. You feel like a tiny grain of sand. You are a messenger who is lost in the middle of a black and infinite ocean. You're a small point of light in a world of shadows. After you send the message, you stay in the room. You watch the data packets move away on the monitor. They are traveling at the speed of light, but the galaxy is too big. It will take so many hours for your words to reach a human ear. You imagine your voice flying through the rings of the gas giant. You imagine it passing through the clouds of cosmic dust and the fields of ice. It is a small spark of life flying through the infinite night. You lean back in your chair and you close your eyes. The blue light of the screens is still there behind your eyelids. You listen to the hum of the ship. Sometimes you think you hear a signal in the white noise. You think you hear music or a call from someone you knew long ago, but it is just your mind playing tricks. Your mind is trying to find patterns in the chaos. The stars are silent. The void does not have a voice. It only has gravity and time. You wait for a few more minutes, you watch the clocks on the wall, and they show the time on Earth and the time on the ship. The two times are moving further apart. Your life is moving at a different speed now. You belong to the stars. You are a part of the long signal that never ends. You are part of the electricity that flows through the wires of this machine. You look at the buttons on the console. Some are worn out from use. You wonder who sat here before you. You wonder if they felt the same loneliness. You imagine their hands touching the same metal. You imagine them staring at the same green line on the screen. We are all connected by this machine. We are all passengers on the same metal island. You feel a vibration in the floor. It is a sign that the ship is adjusting its course. You look out of the small porthole in the corner. You see a distant star flickering. It looks like it is waving at you, or maybe it is saying goodbye. You do not know. In space, every light is a mystery. You stand up and you prepare to leave the room. You touch the cold surface of the terminal one last time. You say a quiet goodbye to the distant voices on the hard drive. You walk back into the dark and empty hall. The journey is very long, the signal is very far away, but you are still here. You are still breathing, you are still moving forward into the dark. Everything is quiet, everything is in order. The signal continues. Chapter 7. The Eternal Watch. The day is almost over. You walk to the front of the ship where the main bridge is located. This is the highest point of the vessel. The lights here are very dim. They are soft red color to protect your vision. You sit in the pilot's chair. You are not flying the ship. The computers do everything. You are here to watch. You are the witness of the void. You look through the massive windows and you see the universe in its true form. There's no up or down here. There's no north or south. There's only the endless deep. You look at the stars and you realize they do not look like they do from Earth. They do not twinkle. They are steady and sharp. They look like holes in the fabric of the night. Each light is a sun. Each sun has its own story. But from here, they're just points of silent fire. You feel the scale of the universe pressing against your chest. It is a heavy feeling, but it is not scary anymore. You've become used to the greatness of the dark. You look at your hands in the red light. They look different. They look like they belong to someone else. You've been in space for so long that you've forgotten what it feels like to be part of a crowd. You've forgotten the noise of the streets. You've forgotten the smell of the air after a storm. Your world has shrunk to the size of this ship. These metal walls are your skin. The hum of the engine is your heartbeat. You are the soul of this machine. You watch a small moon passing by in the distance. It is a dead world made of gray rock and dust. It has no atmosphere. It has no life. It has been there for billions of years, and it will be there long after you are gone. You feel a strange connection to that rock. You're both travelers in the silence. You are both moving through the cold according to the laws of gravity. You understand the moon, and perhaps the moon understands you. You think about the time that has passed. On Earth, seasons have changed. People have grown older, new lives have started, and old lives have ended. But here, time is a flat circle. Every day is the same, every hour is a shadow of the last. You are living in the space between moments. You are the guardian of the infinite. You realize that you are no longer the same person who left the ground. That person stayed behind. This new version of you belongs to the stars. The ship makes a low sound. It is a warning that a solar wind is passing by. You see the sensors on the screen move. You see the colors change. You feel a slight static in the air. It makes your skin tingle. You watch the invisible energy flow past the ship. It looks like ghosts of light dancing in the vacuum. It is beautiful and strange. You realize that the universe is full of life, but it is not the kind of life we know. It is the life of energy and atoms. It is the life of the stars themselves. You lean your head back against the seat. You listen to your own breathing. It is the most human sound in the room. You are a bridge between the world of flesh and the world of iron. You're the only thing that can feel and wonder in this vast desert of vacuum. Without you, the ship would just be a cold object. Without you, the beauty of the stars would have no one to see it. You are necessary. Your presence matters. You look at the dark corner of the bridge. You see the shadows of the equipment. They look like statues in an ancient temple. This ship is your cathedral. The silence is your prayer. You feel a sense of peace that you never felt on Earth. There's no pressure here. There's no hurry. There's only the eternal watch. You are the one who stays awake while the rest of the world sleeps. You are the one who watches the edge of the universe. The stars seem to move closer to the glass. You feel like you could reach out and touch them. You feel like you could step out into the dark and float forever. But you stay in your chair. You stay at your post. The journey is not over yet. There are many more miles to go, many more nights to watch. You accept the silence. You embrace the loneliness. It is your gift. It is your purpose. The red light fades as the ship enters the shadow of a large asteroid. Everything becomes even darker. You can only see the glow of a few small buttons. You sit in the total blackness for a moment. You're not afraid of the dark. The dark is your home now. You listen to the silence. It is not empty. It is full of history and potential. It is the silence of a beginning. The day is ended and a new one is waiting to begin. You stay in your chair. You watch the stars. You keep the watch. Everything is in its place. Everything is as it should be. The journey continues into the infinite.